And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, we were just talking off air about the upcoming football season. It feels early. It's July. How we doing?
I'm feeling a little charged up, man. We, I think we ended with my soliloquy about the Arizona.
Is a word used, yes.
Yeah. Incompetence about the Arizona Cardinals getting caught tampering for Jonathan Gannon, who I don't think anyone else is in competition for. So you and I were asking each other if we're going to watch football this upcoming season. I said inevitably, because I know myself somewhat well. Yes, I will totally be watching, but I'm not happy about it. And I think the team that I happen to root for will be for sure one of the worst in the league. Other than that, man, I'm doing well. I'm excited that we're back to our regularly, easy for me to say, scheduled programming. Right, we got a classic episode of GI in the works. Yes. I got some questions for you, but what is new in Marana, Arizona? How we living?
Not much, man. Thank you for asking. We're just here relaxing. Jess had surgery this week. She's recovering. She's doing great. Freya's getting stir crazy. I think she's ready for school to start in a little under a month, which is absolutely bonkers to me. But everything's good here. Everything's hot here. I believe the car, when we turned it on yesterday, said 117. It dropped down to 110 after it cooled off and just baking in the sun. But 110, 111, 112, 113, 1 doesn't matter. Anything over 1 is hot. It's hot, man.
Have you ever done that? Followed those people on social media where they will like put an egg in a pan,
yes,
and go outside and watch it, like Bill Nye, Science Experiment Jones? Have you done that?
Yeah. I've never done that. No, I have no desire of sitting out in the sun cooking.
Yeah, I was gonna roast you a little bit if you did that. I've never done that.
I know a ton of people, and I have done the burrito gimmick where you make like a bean and cheese burrito, wrap it up, and leave it on your dash. You come out,
never heard of that.
Cheese is melted, everything's hot. It's kind of a perfect way to get a snack ready for your way out. I've definitely
on the dash.
Yeah, construction workers like to do that. I guess that's where I picked that up from.
And then you go to Cabela's and use that Cabela's cash, ideally.
Yes,
and that is just
you go to Bass Pro Shops. You buy one, eat a burrito.
Yeah. Ideally on July 4th week too. That would just
it's prime tank top season right there.
Yeah. Period.
Wear your American flag jorts. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this week was Independence Day. We had the 4th of July celebrations. And listen, man, I didn't tell you this at all. If I hear one more firecracker, bottle rocket, zip zorp, whatever thing is thudding off outside one more time, past 11 p.m., I'm calling the cops. I am wasting taxpayer dollars on this. I am sick of this. My dog is freaking out inside the house because she thinks somebody's trying to break in. I don't care. You want to do whatever you want on the 4th of July. Do whatever you want on the 3rd of July. I don't care. It's the 8th yesterday. It's the 9th as we record this. What are we doing? Now you're just making noise. Now you're just annoying.
That's completely unacceptable. I think fireworks are probably the most overrated commodity in America. I just don't get the appeal. When I was younger, I enjoyed it, just like I'm sure Freya might, or those listening or watching who have children. Like when I was a kid, I loved them, but when I got older and started thinking about how it affects our four-legged friends, it's like I don't think this is worth it. And especially if you're dealing with neighbors who are still doing that 4 or 5 days after the holiday, I think you have every right to use that taxpayer money and call someone. I do not like fireworks at all, man. I'm cool with watching them on TV. I watched a little Macy's Day gimmick where they had Ja Rule and Ashanti and BB Rexa, and that's great. But when we're doing it in the neighborhood and our cats and dogs are stressed out, I'm just like, I kind of like the cats and dogs more than these people with their Santan Valley fireworks. It's silly, man. People lose fingers for this too. Like, all for the name of some lights that you'll put on social media or some. I just not a fan.
So you spawned something here. Number one, a memory of Jess's uncle and cousin shooting off cherry bombs with a slingshot, lighting them, and then going.
Wow.
And
Okay.
The last time it was bang that fast. And I just remember one of them going like, oh man, yeah, that's getting dangerous there. Eh? It's like, yeah, one more time and that's it. And I was just like, what? He just almost blew your hand off out in the boonies. Like, there's no hospital here. Like, you want to go get medical care? It's like a 45-minute drive when you're holding onto your fingers with your other fingers because some of them came off and some of them are up in the tree. Like, what? And just one more time and that's it. Just one more time and that's it. So it made me think context is important. This was also in like the woods. The next house was maybe a quarter mile away. That's where we did a lot of our fireworks stuff, was just like sort of out in the middle of nowhere, out in a field, out in whatever. And, you know, this is in Michigan. It's not out here where it's like you do it out in a field here, you're probably burning down the field. Up there, it was much less likely to happen. Still had to be kind of careful. But the other thing, this is a transition into the wrestling talk. We don't love the fireworks, right? But what about pyro? Is pyro not just indoor fireworks? You're muted. There you
go. You might be onto something. I do love me some pyro.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash. Oh man, had a good week for Kevin Nash. You saw his comments about LA Knight, certainly. What? Why are we going full Clint Eastwood? Get off my lawn. After LA Knight had one of the best weeks, best months in his professional career. Why are we being a hater?
Not even original, brother. It's just, what does this guy think he is? He's just The Rock. He's just, so? And? What's your point? Oh man, he's just like one of the greatest of all time. Oh, what a weird, terrible take by him. Sure, does he have similar qualities? Yeah. So does Brian Cage have similar qualities to other giant hoss wrestlers? Yes. So what? Who cares?
Right. And I think LA Knight's even been quoted as saying, yeah, The Rock, of course, was an inspiration. It's not like he's sort of shying away from that. All of us as artists are inspired by others. Yeah, of course.
It's a modified stutter. It's that weird faceplant thing.
Yeah, the BFT, right.
But it starts with the kick. It's just like Stone Cold's little kick to the abdomen and then grab him like it's a stunner and then fling backwards and throw him forward.
Force trauma, right.
It's awesome. Yeah. And he's a mixture of both of those guys. Isn't that sort of the evolution of the sport? You'd be like, oh, LeBron sucks. He's just Michael Jordan. Ugh. What? What are we doing?
Yeah. Dare I say he might be better than Michael Jordan? I do have the sticker. I become the sticker on water bottle guy all these years later.
You can say it. Yeah.
This is a good reminder to chase for greatness every day, Brad.
He probably is better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
LeBron, but you know, nobody cares about that part.
LeBron is my GOAT. Brad, I think it's time for our official wrestling questions, our wrestling talk. I know it's been a minute since we've done this, so I have a lot in the chamber here, and I want to know if you're ready for my WWE topic, my question number one.
Hell yes, let's do it.
Awesome. So our most recent episode of Gimmick Infringement was, of course, our mid-year award special. We discussed a lot of notable matches and some of the very brightest stars in pro wrestling, including, of course, those in WWE. Although I selected Seth Rollins as my MVP, I got to admit, Jey Uso, I put in all caps in my notes here, Jey Uso should have been my official honorable mention. Not only has he been crushing it from an acting and promo standpoint, and of course, given your theater background, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how Jay's been doing. But he is the first man officially to pin Roman Reigns in nearly 3 years. That being said, what did you think of the Bloodline SmackDown segment? They opened and closed the show. And will Jey dethrone Roman at SummerSlam?
It's a great question. That was sort of my pick a long time ago, was it's got to be Jey, right? And I don't know if that's why you're throwing it back or if you're just now coming aboard the Jey train. I think it has to be Jey, or they might do it with Solo as a swerve, but I kind of feel like it has to be Jey. And maybe even Solo turns on Roman at SummerSlam. I don't know. That's pretty far away. So I don't know. We'll see. I love it, man. I thought everybody involved so far, especially Jey and Roman. Jimmy's been great. Jimmy's been underrated. Jimmy's not as, charismatic, I think, as Jey is on the microphone and in the acting work and stuff. But Jimmy's great. He's so good. And Solo is so good at his role. That dude just doesn't break character. And he's just, the whole time, how much concerted energy that must take to just stand there, scowl, but be in the moment the entire time and just be ready. Holy crap, that dude is locked in out there. Roman squeezing tears out was masterwork, as my stomach growls. I love the entire thing. I like the swerve. I like taking off the garland thing. I don't know what that's called when it's peppers. And then getting down on his knees and then just low blowing him. We knew it was coming. Like, there's no way that it was going to happen like that. Would Jey be a good tribal chief? Because there's a difference. Like, again, tribal chief versus undisputed universal heavyweight, WWE heavyweight championship, whatever bullshit they're calling it. We have that, and we have tribal chief, and I think they have to be separated. And I don't know that Jey's the one. I still think that's the match at WrestleMania with The Rock. I think it has to be, and it has to be at Mania. If it's at some other thing, it's not going to be that level. And I don't think DJ goes back for anything other than WrestleMania. But I really want to see that match, and I want it to be for that. But this storyline right now makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I've loved everything about it. How about you?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I'm really curious to see what that next storyline is going to be post Bloodline.
Yeah,
that captures our attention in the way this one is doing, and maybe that's too high of a bar because this has been, I think, Brad, and arguably at this point, the best storyline in wrestling since. I mean, really, in the 2000s, this is, to me, stood head and shoulders above. Jey makes a ton of sense to be the guy. I know a lot of people in the community have said that. It starts with Jey. Maybe the reign could end with Jey. I definitely think Roman is leaving Detroit, is leaving SummerSlam, still champ. I don't think Jey's going to do it. And I don't think Jey would have a rematch of any sort at this point, because Roman will then be 2-0 against Jey, and there would not be a need for a rubber match. My question would be, if Roman does in fact win at SummerSlam, when would he drop the title, and who would he drop the title to?
No.
It couldn't happen until WrestleMania, right? Like, he's not dropping it. I don't even think he would drop it at the Royal Rumble.
No, and at that point, it would have to be probably Cody. Who's on
Cody Roman too. Yep.
So right now there's no lane. They're not going to have Cody win the Rumble again back to back, right?
No,
they're not doing that.
No.
So what's his way into the Mania main event? Because whoever wins the Rumble is doing that.
Yeah. Probably.
Sometimes they call it up early and they do it during a different time. They do it whatever's in between the Rumble and Mania. But you know, I don't know who else there is.
Dare I ask, do you see Damian Priest?
Oh, no.
Money in the Bank winner inserting himself, or is he going for Seth?
I think he goes for Seth, but they'll have Seth lose much more readily than they'll have Roman lose, especially to Damian Priest. No insult on him, but like whoever beats Roman has to be like next level build. Yeah. And they've done that a couple of times now and squandered it. So I don't know who you get to that. I don't know. Can you build somebody that quickly to a Sami Zayn level or a Cody Rhodes WrestleMania level coming back from injury? Like
Yeah, it's
either
Jey or Cody, unless we're forgetting someone. I don't think Grayson Waller, although WWE is very high on him.
I like Grayson Waller a lot.
I like Grayson Waller a lot too, but obviously we know he's not.
So the only other thing I can think is Drew, right? Drew is going to beat Gunther. Maybe that's what happens there. That way Sheamus can beat Drew and finally become IC champion. Because I don't think they can do another Sheamus Gunther match, even though they're great. Yeah. I don't think they can do another one. He's beaten him a couple of times now. So, and I don't think he's ever beaten Drew one-on-one. That match is going to rule. They're going to beat the hell out of each other. Two big boys too.
We saw that match just about a year ago.
Yes.
The opener for that Tucson house show. One of my favorite memories.
Oh, Drew Sheamus. Yeah.
Drew Sheamus, yeah.
I'm talking Drew Gunther are going to beat the hell out of each other.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know that it's a guarantee Drew wins that.
No, but it would be a path for Gunther to fight Roman.
It would.
And that's the one, if not anybody else. I think that's the one people can get on board with. Because if Roman comes out, it's like, I beat everybody, there's nobody left, and then the Imperium music plays, I think people will be here for that. Wow. I don't know who the babyface is.
I think it's gonna be 2 shades of gray, and you root for who you want to root for. Me too.
I think that would be amazing.
Me too.
I don't know that WWE would do that. I think they'd have to give them a reason to cheer for somebody because that's what they do. But I don't know if it'll be successful because a lot of times it's not. Like Asuka.
Kind of feeling like a big afterthought right now, no?
Yeah. Again, they keep not for another time. But I feel like they've been dropping the ball across the board for SmackDown. 0 women's matches, I believe.
You're right.
Terrible. So we'll leave that wound be for now. But the women's division is not getting a lot of love. And then there's I don't know. I have a lot to say about that, but we did get Natty Rhea, and it was good. It was real good. So what do I know? WWE is just on fire right now. It's so good. I don't love watching Raw all the time. It's still like half of it I like and half of it I could miss. SmackDown is getting, I don't know, it's like hit or miss still. It's like some of it's really good and some of it's just like it feels like it's filler. It feels like filler. I think that's the difference between AEW. It's like, even though I might not care about some of the matches that are happening in AEW, I don't feel like there's any filler. Where WWE, sometimes it's both. I don't really care about the matches and it feels like filler. A lot of ring entrance time, a lot of watching just people walk in, and it's like, my God, get to something. Do something here. Yeah,
there was not a lot of in-ring action on SmackDown from the Garden this week. No, that AJ Styles, Michin versus Scarlett and Karrion Kross, that was like, I got up to use the bathroom, I was back, and the match was over, Brad.
Yeah.
I had to run it back.
Yeah, and I would like to see more just utilization of the time they have. And I understand that it was the Garden and they're letting it soak in for the wrestlers and they're enjoying the pop and stuff for the entrance, and that's part of the spectacle. But ultimately, it's a wrestling company and we want to see people wrestle. We don't want to see people walk. Go to the mall if I wanted to see that. If the mall existed. Foothills Mall is rubble. They tore it all down. Absolutely.
I'm telling you, I bring up this idea annually, either on air or in text messages. Yeah, yes. I think that we, meaning you, myself, and anyone who wants to join us, should put all of our life savings into resurrecting Foothills Mall in Tucson, Arizona. By the time I got there, Foothills wasn't what it used to be, but I understand that in previous decades, it was really the go-to hangout spot. But then we got the outlet mall that came and took Nike, and Tucson Mall became more of a popular destination. I just think Foothills Mall could really be something again.
No, Tyler, I wasn't being metaphorical. It's rubble. They tore it down. It's
the Ross is gone now.
Yeah, everything's gone. The building's gone.
They still got the AMC though, right?
The theater and Barnes and Noble are it. Everything else is.
So it's too late for us, is what you're saying.
Well, we could do it, but it's going to be on top of like sheet metal bricks and screws.
Okay, onto the next dream.
They're building like a complex though, like an apartment / shopping area.
Okay, that's
over
good.
there.
That's good.
So I'm really
That's
excited for it. The build looks really cool, and it looks like they'll have a center court, perfect size for a ring.
Hey,
perfect size.
Hey, okay, keep the dream alive.
Yeah, we'll try. Speaking of staying alive, Survivor Series will be in the All-State Arena in Chicago on November 25th. Tyler, this is pretty simple. I got simple questions for you today. I didn't go too crazy, although this one might be a little bit of a thinker. What is the state of each Money in the Bank briefcase by then? And what is the main event outside of the actual Survivor Series match, which will not main event? It never does.
Wow. Right. Wow. Yeah, Chicago is just the home of wrestling.
Yeah.
Still, I'm a little envious of all the shows they're getting, but hopefully the crowds are awesome. The state of the briefcases. By then, I believe EO cashes in and is champ. I think Damian Priest is going to be more of a slow burn. I think they're going to hold off on him cashing in. I really, like you and I said on the previous segment, I don't think he's cashing in on Roman. And I would like Seth to have a bit of a lengthier run as champ. But if we look at AEW, I also said I didn't want Wardlow losing the TNT title until like winter is coming. And then a week and a half later, he loses and is nowhere to be seen once again. So what, like you said earlier, what do I know? But yeah, I'm going to say Damian Priest is still holding on to the briefcase by then. I think EO, though, will cash in successfully and will become champ. Unfortunately, I don't know that we're in for a lengthy Asuka run. What is the main event of that show? Wow. I'm going to pencil in Roman Reigns, but who's he going to face? I'm going to go Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins.
I hope they do it. I hope that's what happens, right? Like, I really hope they do that again, because they didn't do that last year.
No.
There was no champ versus champ. What was there? Was that War Games? I can't remember.
Yeah. The Bloodline beat the what was it, like Sheamus. Yeah. It was the Fight Night crew and Kevin Owens, right?
And KO, yeah.
Yep, that was it.
KO Sammy. Oh, wait, no, Sammy was in the Bloodline.
He was in the that dude definitely haluva kicked Kevin Owens' head off.
Yes.
And then Owens' head is like buried in Zayn's chest. It just, I mean, impeccable. So impeccable. Good. Wrestling is the best.
Yeah.
Combat theater.
All that was incredible. So that was, they might do a War Games again, but I don't know if that'll main event, because I don't know. I don't think there'll be a Bloodline to be involved in at that point, right? So, or it'll be stronger than ever and they get a bunch of other Bloodline people, or they just start hiring Samoans left and right and calling them Bloodline. Who knows what happens? Like mercenary bloodlines hired by Roman. I think that could be compelling, and then have Jimmy and Jey team up with Sammy and KO, and that would be against Roman and whoever. That could be compelling, but I don't think that's going to happen. So Money in the Bank, I'm with you. I don't think Damian Priest cashes in. I think it's going to be a while for him. I think Io cashes in on Asuka, but I kind of hope Io cashes in for Asuka, not on her. I want her to go like, I want this match. I'm cashing in the briefcase so I can fight you at X event, rather than waiting until after a match to steal it, because I think we all want that match. And if not, we got to have that rematch. We need Asuka Io, and we need it to be 25 minutes.
Yeah. If Io doesn't have an official match at SummerSlam, I'm thinking maybe that's the time they cash in. We could get 3 or 4 women's matches at SummerSlam.
I hope so.
Shayna versus Ronda, Bianca versus Charlotte versus Asuka. You got
Ronda is the match. That is the match. I told you when she came back, that's the only one I want to see. Right? Like, I'm actually excited about this.
Yeah.
Actually excited about this, because her contract's ending and she's done.
Yep.
After that, but Shayna Ronda has to happen before she retires.
100%. I don't need to tell this to the #1 Rhea Ripley fan I know, but I will. You got to have Rhea Ripley on the SummerSlam card in a meaningful match. The women could have a huge showing at SummerSlam. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
But if Io's not on the card, which I kind of don't think she will be, I could see her cashing in that night.
As far as the main event goes, I don't know. I really don't know. That might be a time where they do like a Roman versus maybe Grayson Waller, or maybe Roman's not even on the card. Maybe he's doing something else, and the championship, the men's championship match is Seth. But the only thing I can see right now is Seth versus Roman. And that's the main event I want to see. That's the main event everybody wants to see, because it's the easiest story to tell in the world. It's all right there. All the Shield stuff, their last match that ended in a DQ. There's not really any stakes involved right now, but my God, I want to see this match.
That's got to be the one. That's got to be the answer. Maybe Solo even turns that night, and then I would love a clean Seth win, but maybe that's when Solo hits the tribal chief with a Samoan spike.
Yeah, I don't know, but I can't wait. I really hope that's what happens now, man. I don't know. That has to be the one. I can't think of anything else. I can't think, like, Grayson Waller can't be it. Braun Breaker, we've been predicting for 6 years now, I believe, every week. It's maybe Bray Wyatt does something as the Fiend, maybe. Because we got SummerSlam coming up, and I feel like if he is coming back as the Fiend, they changed his picture on the website to the Fiend. If he does come back, and I know Fightful reported that there's some creative plans. I think it was Fightful. I could be in error there, but somebody reported that seemed legit, that they've been working on some creative plans involving the Fiend. I don't know why you get rid of that character anyway. I know that's not everybody's favorite character, and I know that they booked him like garbage, but Triple H is doing it now, and it doesn't matter. That character makes money hand over fist. The entrance rules, the gimmick is really cool and unique, and it's not a man in a top hat missing LA Knight by 50 feet into a pile of cardboard with some sparkles.
Yeah. The further we are away from that night, the more I actually really appreciate it. I was pretty upset when I first saw it, but now it's really a highlight. It's like a sparkle in my eye thinking about Uncle Howdy. I almost forgot the dude's name. Uncle Howdy jumping.
Not in a good way.
No, not in a good way, but it makes me happy thinking about, like, yeah, we actually saw that.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And both of us got to just laugh.
It is joyful.
The fire and brimstone, like, just so unnecessary, and it just makes me really happy now. I gotta confess.
Bray's second mask.
Yeah,
he wore a mask, and then had an under mask, and he was like a vampire thing. And then Uncle Howdy just doing this giant elbow drop into the abyss.
Yeah, and LA Knight lost that match. Like, what a turn for LA Knight. That sort of it's kind of like the internet meme, right? Like how it started versus how it's going. That was the start of LA Knight's 2023.
Yeah.
And if we look at where he's at now, although not a Money in the Bank briefcase winner, I would suspect that he is in line for. I think the match is Austin Theory versus LA Knight at SummerSlam, and LA Knight finally gets that big win.
Save that belt. That reign will make that belt so popular.
Yes.
Oh my God. It'll be must-see. Yeah.
Yeah. Pencil that one in.
Yep.
Use a pen and pen that one in. That has to happen.
Write it in Alexa Bliss's black goo that came out of her forehead after Bray emerged from the box-like structure. So, man,
that one has not aged well for me, like the Uncle Howdy.
No,
that one just doesn't even make me happy at all. I can't even laugh at that anymore.
It's pretty bad. But what else makes me happy is every week getting updates from Tyler on the workings in The Bachelor and The Bachelor. At Tyler, it is time once again for another rose. Take us away.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
On our show notes, I timestamped this and I put batch, all caps with 3 exclamation points, because not to toot my own horn, but I think this might be one of the best rose segments we have ever had. Let me go to my script and then yes, I heard that. You did too.
It was the right music, and then I muted myself by accident. It was, but I forgot that it doesn't stop, so I couldn't figure out how to stop it. It's like, do I really want to play that underneath?
That's a lot. Yeah, this one's gonna go a few minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I got, as we know, if you're new to GI, if you're new to our Rose segments, So basically I give a recap and then I close with asking you a question. That's what this is morphed into. So here's my update portion. We're 2 episodes into charity season, and here's what you need to know, Brad. A, the wrestler is still on, and he's not a heel. He actually seems like a pretty decent dude. B, the dude who can jump really high, I don't remember these guys' names. The dude who can jump really high that we talked about in our preview, that guy's gone, Brad. I called this. He was sent packing the very first night. I think his name is Chris. He's a jobber. I don't know. I knew he wasn't going to last long. Yeah, well, he's gone too. And then final update for you. We already have a contestant who spends his time with charity, his precious one-on-one time, talking about Braden, another dude who this guy doesn't like because he perceives Braden isn't here for the right reasons. A classic Bachelor trope and Bachelorette trope. It's really a whole thing. But I do want to let you know that there was a memorable date on last week's episode. Charity took Aaron, a 29-year-old software salesman, on a date to the Hollywood sign, obviously in California. And that was about it. Brad, I don't think that's a date. So here's what I got for you. I'm going to present you with 5 date ideas.
Oh boy.
And I want you to tell me whether you would count these as actual dates or not.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No.
I have 5. Number 1, a picnic.
Yes.
Number 2, a yoga class.
No.
Number 3, Tucson edition. Visiting Reed Park Zoo.
Yes.
Very good. 2 more. Number 4, staying in Tucson. Walking to Mamak Hill.
It's a tough one. Just the 2 of you?
Just the 2.
No.
Final one. I don't know if this is still popular, but I wanted to present it to you. Netflix and chill.
No, that's not a date. That's sex.
Yeah. I enjoyed the segment. I hope you did as well. I think I agree with most of yours, the latter for sure. Yeah, the yoga class, I think you have to have already been together. And even if you're together, if you've been dating, if you're married, I don't know that that's a date. I think that's just a cool way to do something you both enjoy, but I would agree with you.
That's spending time with each other. The hiking thing, I feel like it's the same thing. How it depends. I've never actually hiked that because I don't care to hike that. I've hiked Seven Falls and Pima Canyon and Picacho Peak and stuff, but I've never done Tumamoc, and I've never done like Safford, 2 places that I've wanted to do, but kids. And my free time, it's boiling. So I'd have to go at 3 a.m. to hike one of those hills right now. If you are like, if you're hiking Seven Falls, there's part of it where you get to communicate with each other. I feel like if you're on a date, you have to be able to communicate. A picnic is great. Dinner is great. A movie is terrible. You're just in the dark, staring in the same direction, but not at each other.
I've done that so many times. I think as a society, date is one of the top date. Going to the movies is one of the top date ideas.
It has to be the second part of a date. It has to be dinner and then a movie.
True
if
that.
It's just the movie, then it's not a date. If it's the end of the night, because then you have the dinner, it goes really well. Yes, I have to go, or let's go to this movie, because it could be like, actually, I'm kind of tired. I think I'm going to go home, which is, the date went bad. But if you go to the movie afterward, there's the potential for hand holding. There's the potential to see if are you going to buy the ticket? Are you going to do whatever it is you're going to do? So there is potential at the movie theater for more date, but the date takes place at dinner. It doesn't take place in the dark where you're not looking at each other, communicating with each other, doing anything with each other other than sitting.
That's real.
Yeah. I feel like that way about any physical activity. It's like, if you play tennis with each other, is it a date? I don't want to be mad when I lose.
Yeah, and we're talking real life tennis, not Wii tennis.
Oh hell no, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, like, it's but tennis is like one of those go-tos where I grew up, because it was safe. Like, you're not physically contacting each other. There's a net in between you. You can talk to each other because you're looking at the other person. Like if we were going to go to the Y and hoop it up, no, I'm trying to win. And I did not like getting body checked by girls that were there. I was there just playing basketball. I wasn't like on a date because of my competitive side. I think would take over, and then I wouldn't enjoy myself. And I just, Tumamock is not a race, but I think about how hot it would be and how just deeply, deeply sweaty and uncomfortable it could be. I don't know that that's a great date experience when you're huffing, puffing, and drenched.
Yeah, that's got to be a March or April date. When we get into May, you got like maybe a solid 2 months. I mean, even October though, so maybe 3 months out of the year.
Yeah, there's not a huge window, like October through March ish.
Yeah,
you're fine.
But you're not getting up at 6 a.m. to go on this potential date to Tumamock.
That's just it. Yeah. And that also feels like maybe it is a date for a couple that's been together for a while. It's a get out and spend some time with each other. But like, I'm thinking date. When you say date, I'm thinking early dating. This is the longest we've ever talked about dating on this show.
I told you, man. Tell me when I'm telling lies. This is one of the best batch segments we've ever had.
Yeah, it is. And the music ended about 10 minutes ago. So, well, I mean, I can still can't figure out how to shut it off. So I'll just.
Hey, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. What a transition. Tyler, hit me with your AEW question.
Yeah. So similar vibe here. I'm going to present you with the list, but my exposition is going to be much
in AEW.
Yes.
Is
lots of couples in AEW. I saw that Kyle Fletcher and Sky Blue are a thing, which makes me a little sad because I was rooting for Sky Blue and Dante, but I could tell that they were no longer an item. So best to Sky and Kyle, and we know Jungle Boy and Anna Jay. There's a lot, man. But here's my list. I want to know what made you happiest this week. I also have 5 options. First option, CM Punk and Samoa Joe squaring off for the first time in years. Option number 2, Scorpio Sky returning. By the way, he's 40. I did not realize that. Yeah. Very handsome man. Third option, Ruby Soho finally winning meaningful matches. Number 4, Better Than You Baybay. Or finally, option number 5, Powerhouse Hobbs spine-busting Aaron Solo out of his boots, effectively leaving QTV.
Did he leave? I don't think he left.
Oh no.
QT's still trying to calm him down. So I don't know. There's still, I mean, I hope he did, but he didn't take it out on QT. I think they're setting up the QT Hobbs match, which that'll be fun. QT will die. Ricky winning was great. I loved Better Than You Baybay. So,
I knew it. Talk your talk. I'm gonna let you cook.
You don't have to, but that's the part that happened after. But it was Scorpio Sky returning. I have wanted Scorpio Sky to come back for so long. That man deserves his flowers. They gave it to him on the way out. I feel like that crowd underwhelmingly cheered for him. He's really good in the ring. He's charismatic as hell. I love the snap gimmick. I love it so much. And him coming back as a face. The guy was he was the first tag champs in SEU, and then and then he was a TNT champ in a dreadful run. But he was a TNT champ. He got hurt, had to leave. He's been healed. They haven't had anything for him. What?
For like 8 months, right? No creative plans.
Absolutely criminal behavior there. So I'm so thankful that he's back. I have a feeling that he wasn't supposed to be. Like, I know that match got added to the card, but I'm pretty sure it's because Willow couldn't go with Athena because of an injury. And hopefully she heals up. And this is why wrestlers have to go to the shows and remain backstage, even if they're not on the show, because they might be on the show, which I think is pretty cool. And there's nothing else like that in entertainment, right? Like, you have understudies and stuff, but nobody finds out that last second. Like, going in, oh yeah, today you're going to be doing it because they're sick. Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go do that. No, it's like, hey, we got to add you like 2 hours before. Get ready.
Could you imagine showing up to school and then you're just sort of on the bench waiting? Like, hey, Winchester doesn't have it today. You want to step up and oh yeah, I got my flash drive. Let me
bonkers.
I got a good lesson objective.
And he went out there and had a really good match with Andretti. I thought it was fun. He looked good. I thought the crowd got behind him. The crowd seemed up for it, but the crowd was also kind of terrible on Collision. So I don't know if it was the way it was mic'd or what, but it just sounded like a lot of individuals, but not a crowd, if that makes sense. I was picking up a lot of individual voices. I did appreciate some of the signs that were in there. The Samoa Joe is my tribal chief one stood out to me. That made me chuckle. That was a fun match. It wasn't my favorite match of their trilogy, I guess, or their quadrilogy. Their chemistry is great still after all these years. And CM Punk winning, going for the handshake and then getting choked out was pretty great. So I don't know what they're going to do with that later. Maybe that's a pay-per-view match between those two. Or maybe CM Punk takes the ROH title from him. I don't know.
Wow.
Because if he wins that match, if they do run it back, they're setting up another trilogy. Because then they're going to have then they're 2-2. So
that would be something.
That would be amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, they wouldn't be 2-2. Punk would want to try to get it to 3-3 and tie it.
Yeah,
maybe that's where they end it.
Right. Who do you think is winning the Owen tournament on the men's and women's side?
Ricky.
Ricky goes over on Punk.
Yeah, it has to be Ricky. Punk doesn't need it. It's not even a story device. Like that's the thing that I struggle with the Owen tournament is that there's nothing to do with it after it's over. That's the only thing. It's like, oh, that was really cool. But it gives all of these matches meaning going forward until the cup is won. And then you win the cup. But then it's just sort of a credential after that. It's not a prop that you can use on TV because you can't put it up to give this match stakes. You can't do anything with it other than say, hey, I won the Owen Cup. And maybe that sets up a match with Ricky and Adam Cole to say who's the best Owen Cup winner. That could be fun. There's a lot of things you could do, I guess, after that. But, well, I guess there's not a lot of things is what I meant to say there. So I don't even remember who's in the finals for the women. Is it?
Yeah.
Ruby,
so
Ruby and who else?
So on Dynamite, we have Ruby versus Sky Blue.
Yeah.
And then this Friday on Rampage, we're going to see Athena versus Willow. And then we'll get to the finals. Right. Who's your favorite there?
It's
you could convince me of nearly all of them.
I think it has to be Ruby, right?
Yeah, I think it's Ruby deserves a big one.
Ruby deserves the win in AEW. Willow has gold in New Japan, and I don't think they're going to put gold on her before Ruby. Athena has gold in ROH. I don't think that's going to happen. Sky Blue is still cooking. She's hugely popular right now, but I think they're going to wait to let that character develop a little bit more before strapping her up with gold. She would be a perfect person to have in a tag team right now with a gold title because people love to see her, and I think that would give her matches with stakes and could be great for promotional things. But I think it has to be Ruby because Ruby has earned the crap out of it, deserves it, and would be an awesome champ once she gets the gold. But in the meantime, she's going to be great winning the Owen Cup and getting I don't think they made belts this time, right? It's just the cup. I didn't see belts anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it might just be the cup.
I do recall somebody saying something about belts online, though, so I think maybe that is happening.
Britt Baker had the belt backstage during her promo on Wednesday.
It wasn't that. It was like new belts for this year. I thought I saw.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything about that, but I did see last year's belt on Britt's shoulders. That's been it.
They'll reveal it at the final, if anything. Yeah, so
for sure.
I think that might be what they did last year too, right? Like, did we get him? We didn't get him until like the Rampage before,
right?
So yeah, so who knows what happens? Tyler, I'm more excited about Battle of the Belts than anybody.
I hear your favorite tag team,
man. We're getting the chairman theme.
We're getting Sean Spears. We're getting your favorite tag team defending in the 2 out of 3 falls, which is going to rule. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Battle of the Belts is back. We got 3 hours of AEW wrestling on Saturday. What a time!
Not a huge fan of their first match. FTR and Bullet Club Gold had way too many false finishes for me, like to the point where I was like, all right, Now I just don't believe you at all that any of these things. It was just too many back to back to back to back. If they spread them out a little bit more, I think it would have been better. But it was just so many so fast that I was like, it kind of took me out of it a little bit. Wasn't for me. I'm sure other people would strongly disagree with me, but I didn't love that. But those guys have great chemistry, and this match is going to be awesome. I think doing all those false finishes is probably a good way to set up the 2 out of 3 falls match, because you know it can happen at any point. Maybe that's why they thought doing that would make sense for the future, but I didn't love it in that match. But I'm looking forward to their next match, because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. And at least we got another Miro promo.
Oh, what a
vignette, I guess would be the more proper term. It's just my favorite character in wrestling right now.
Yeah, he's so good. All right, Tyler, I have nothing to add. What did you think?
Yeah, man. So I mean, we covered a lot of ground there in terms of my favorite from the week. I want to lean towards Scorpio Sky. I also love the new background for him, like the Titantron, and like he has his official pose. It's kind of like the Jordan logo, but it's his own sort of like looking at the sky. I thought that was super, super great. Man, my favorite from the week. Honestly, I think I'm going to roll with Ruby Soho. I really think it's her time to win the Owen. I know last year she was a babyface. This year she is far from it. But we've really been clamoring for a signature Ruby win. And although the Owen doesn't necessarily lead to anything substantial, I think that could be a really huge look for her. So I'm going to roll with Ruby winning meaningful matches again, even if it's via nefarious means these days.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay. I'll try to be brief with my question here as we wind down. I have a list for you. Listen to this list of injuries. Okay. Wheeler Yuta, Mercedes Moné, Kofi Kingston, Isaiah Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Big E, Sol Ruca, Braun Strowman, Thunder Rosa, Dakota Kai, Randy Orton, Danhausen, Robert Roode. There's a lot. AEW has 3 shows. Does AEW have the character depth in order to sustain viewership, or is it just wrestling talent depth sustaining them?
Oh, man, I think it's just talent depth at this point. The rosters are so huge for both companies that you have the talent ready to just sort of plug and play. But man, it's been rough. And then hearing how the blood and guts match is going to be affected with, again, as you pointed out, Wheeler going down. And then before that, Bryan Danielson is hurt once again. And Mercedes, right? We were supposed to have Mercedes at Forbidden Door. All signs point to it. Maybe even at TD Garden. Maybe she'll still appear in some way. We'll see. But I think it's really talent at this point. You just have to rely on, there are so many gifted people who can just step in and be there. But obviously the storylines, I think, are gonna suffer a bit from this. How about you?
I don't think they have a lot of character depth with a lot of the characters right now, and there's no storylines or through lines through really any of them. They lumped all of the top women into a feud, and then and then Jamie Hayter got hurt. Britt Baker has been completely absent outside of a promo here or there. Mm-hmm. Like, she should be on every show. Every show. I don't understand why she's not constantly in the ring. She's probably the biggest women's star you have. Yeah. And she's just not there. She's just non-existent.
Right. I understand. The women's title kind of feels like an afterthought to me.
The women's title is also just there. Yeah. They're really not doing a great job with that right now. They haven't done to the people that criticize AEW, to their point, they're not telling stories. They're not making compelling television that is must-see to find out what happens with that story. They're leaning more into the sports part of it, which is, let's see who can win these matchups. I'm fine with that, but I also need a reason to care about the matchups. So, because it's even in like ESPN and other sports networks, it's a lot of, hey, let's talk about, oh, this person grew up here and they overcame all these obstacles. Here's their best friend they were with, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, they got drafted first. They got drafted second. They're trying to prove. We got to tell the story of this game. We got to tell the story of this match. And I think sometimes AEW just has matches and they don't service. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes they have just the story of the match with sort of the undercard talent that haven't been built to a level to just be able to hang without a story. Like Action Andretti being on there is awesome. Scorpio Sky even being on there is awesome. Why were they fighting? What was the match for? Was it just a match? Is it to improve the record? Like there's not even any of that. It's just sort of, and they're fighting now. I need a little bit more. Like, why did this match get booked? What is the point of this match? And it doesn't have to be big. It could just be like these two were left out of the Owen tournament. They're mad. They have something to prove. They want to improve their singles record so they can work their way up to a #1 contender spot. Done. Sold. But at least give me that. They're not doing any of that right now. So I don't know why I should care about any of these people or these matches when they aren't given the opportunity to tell us why we should care about these people in their matches. And it's all I really want. Ricky Starks, he does enough in his promo work and he's been involved in storylines and feuds for me to care. I do want to say this, though. I freaking love the Collision Open. It's my favorite thing in all of wrestling. My favorite part of production. I love how they just jump in and it's like the old school Saturday night promo stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so good.
It's awesome. And you have, in the opening, you have talent that are specifically featured on that episode. I saw Will Washington's tweet that was sort of an Easter egg for the first few weeks. Every week that opening is catered to the talent you're actually going to see on the show, which feels really good. It feels unique.
It feels like a different brand.
It does, which I think is their goal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I hope their viewership goes up. After 3 weeks, it went steadily down, precipitously down. But,
for sure,
you know, it was a 4th of July weekend. It was the week before that was, of course, it was going to hit like 500. I think they're going to hover around 500 forever. And it's the 4th week. Relax. They don't need a lot of viewership. It's not expensive to put on a wrestling show for a television company. It's way cheaper than making an actual TV production. So
exactly.
When you consider the gate and merchandise and all the other stuff, it's like, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like 500, 400,000, 200,000 is probably good for them.
Yeah.
Plus streaming, social media, all that. They're fine.
And when you have talent like Malachi Black reportedly specifically requesting to be on Collision exclusively.
Yes.
Moving forward, you got Andrade. You
Love
got
his promo too.
Yeah, you just have so many talented folks on this Saturday show that, like you, Brad, I'm not worried about any massive viewership declines. I think they're going to be good.
We're getting Malachi Black versus Andrade finally.
Yeah. Probably on TV, not even on a pay-per-view. Maybe on a pay-per-view, but either way, the fact that our eyes are going to be blessed with that match makes me feel very blessed. Yeah, very blessed. Yep. Yes,
it's all awesome. We get wrestling, man. A lot of it every week. I have no complaints. Do I like everything? No, but it's my friend growing up, Mike. We went to Jurassic Park 3 together. We went to the movie and we watched that film, and it's just a dreadful, terrible movie. And we left and we went, that movie was pretty bad, but who cares? It was dinosaurs. At some point, it's like, yeah, it wasn't very good, but who cares? It's pro wrestling. Yeah. I wanted to see the talent, and I want to see them wow me with their athleticism and the stories they tell in the ring, as much as I want to see all the other stuff. LA Knight I'm not watching LA Knight to watch him wrestle. There are better wrestlers. Just like there are, like Bryan Danielson is incredible in the ring. They're better characters. There just are. So there's something for everybody. And right now we have a lot of somethings for everybody, and it's pretty damn cool to be a part of.
Yeah. Well said. What did we miss from the week?
Money in the Bank. I did take note of Michael Cole absolutely firing shots at for the ad sponsorship for WWE 2K23 as the best, most highly rated wrestling game out there. They laid it in pretty thick to let you know that AEW Fight Forever is not this thing that they created, which I don't even enjoy playing. So whatever, because it's way too complicated for me because I'm a dunce. But I thought that was really funny hearing that. I love that wrestling companies take little jabs at each other. I love it so much. We missed that. And I'm sure there's other things that I can't think of. Tyler, this week was a blur to me. It was a very busy week. I can't recall anything else that we missed.
Yeah, no, speaking of jabs, we also got John Cena appearing at Money in the Bank, kind of teasing a WrestleMania across the pond, but obviously we know AEW is going to be there. So the jab part of it, where yeah, I think we're just going to only continue to see more of that as the year progresses. The only item that I noted in terms of what we missed was the rise of Threads, the new app from Meta. So we have another competitor to Twitter. You're on Threads. I'm on Threads. Initial thoughts, quick thoughts on this? Do you think it's going to stick? It already has 70 million users. It set a record for latest apps or app downloads. Like, where are you at with Threads? Is it going to be?
I like Threads. I think it's very similar to Twitter minus all the Elon. They need to fix a lot of it though. None of it's in chronological order. I can't organize it. And when you import from Instagram, it's nice, but there are accounts on there that I wanted to follow visually that I want to hear their thoughts. So now I got to go through my list and get rid of them.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Why do I give a shit about what this cooking thing is telling me? Like, I don't want to, I'm not clicking that. So there's stuff that got to work out, but being able to import all of your followers immediately and then request from people immediately and instantly with a button click. Brilliant move by Zuckerberg. Absolutely effing brilliant move to just import your current follower list. You don't have to do anything. You can just interact with people that you're already friends with and following. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty optimistic about it. I think it's going to stay, right? Given the machine it's a part of and how many users they already have. And like you said, the kind of seamless integration to finding your community on there. But yeah, man, I'm interested to track this and see what develops over the next few weeks. It seems like we're all kind of down to migrate from the Elon verse into this new thing. Yes. But I agree with you in our text conversation during the week. So many apps, so many new ways to waste time during the day to avoid school. So we'll see what happens, but I'm pretty optimistic for all the reasons you listed out.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. It's going to be a good week. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see how Blue Sky responds, because what a torpedo to that thing. Threads was. I feel bad for all the developers and stuff, because it's probably going to kill it.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Spill, which I think is sort of catering to Black users. Yes. So there's a lot out there.
There's a lot out there.
Okay, man. Well, hey, I had a blast on this episode. We hope you did too. You can follow Brad on Twitter @WindDuster. You can also follow me @Tyler J. McDowell. We are always @GIPod19. Check out the website for articles and much, much more, gimmickinfringementpod.com. We thank you so much for being here, and we hope you'll join us again for the next edition of GI. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.